Why don't we talk Game of Thrones? Dave, what's your Starbucks order?
Did not notice it at the time. Um, Really funny joke. Everyone's having a go at it. I think it's really funny. Um, Also, unexpected callback to the pilot of Game of Thrones, where there's an extra wearing jeans under he's like a
Hell
tunic of some kind, for his chest, and then he's just wearing jeans.
yeah, hell
Like Jamie's in the shot. Like it's clearly you recognize the pilot, you recognize Jamie's attire at the time.
yeah.
Really funny. This also happens all the time. So people are like, oh, Game of Thrones, HBO, they've been phoning in the whole time. Look, you can't see episode 3, episode 4. They leave a Starbucks cabinet. Like, dog, they leave shit gets left in shots constantly for everyone. This is not some unique rare problem. And to be honest, it's a show that they only took 9 months to make this season instead of 10. But I don't know if they look at dailies every single day when they're just getting all this bulk footage. They probably noticed it at some point and just said, well, we're going to have to leave it in because that's the best shot of Danny for that moment that we wanted. So it is what it is. But really funny in the moment.
Definitely really funny. Also, that apparently Danny's wig changed in the same scene, which I don't think is that big a deal either. But people were clowning it a little bit. So
I mean, Emilia Clarke wears so much extra hair,
yeah.
So whatever. Do we got to?
Overall, what did you think of the episode? Though I've seen a lot of different takes on it.
Yeah, it's funny. I think structurally it does kind of feel like two different episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if we had more time, if season 7, season 8 were longer, we just had more time and everything. This could have been two separate episodes, I suppose. We just really have the beginning of the episode, the post battle morning / revelry, getting
Right.
litty, having sex episode.
Hell yeah.
And lots of great shit there. Loved a lot of it, most of it. Awesome. And the second episode, where we're getting down to brass tacks once again, we're fucking last war in this bitch. We're ending it, right?
Yep.
And next thing you know, Rhaegal's dead. And that episode ends with Missandei dead. It's like, oh shit! All right, we here again. Yeah, I liked it again. I think it's a show that even if the abrupt pacing that just inherently accompanies ending this kind of narrative of this scale, even with that, it's still fucking engaging as shit all the time.
Yep.
So again, I love the episode like usual.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I do feel like I worry about some of the things that happened, and I'm not going to make a judgment on it until we see how it ends. Like, for example, I've seen a lot of people talking about Jamie and Brienne and how that they got together, and that was one of the most crowd pleasing, fan. Yeah, exactly. It's like fan servicey moments that the show's had this season. Great, I love them together. Love Brienne. Give her all the good things. And then Jamie kind of breaks bad at the end, right? And he's like,
does he?
Right.
We don't know.
And that's
ambiguous.
The thing. And that's the thing is that I see people being like, man, fuck this. They just did that for fan service, blah, blah. It's like, don't be so quick to judge, because that could have been kind of like the, pushing Brienne away so that she doesn't get more hurt while he goes and tries to do whatever he has to do with Cersei. I do think some of the leaps in logic in this episode were a little frustrating. Like, for example, Dany's flying these dragons above, and she can't see from a distance that there's Euron and his whole fleet. That maybe they shouldn't turn around. They don't have any ships going ahead scouting. The continued lack of
this is classic Dany though.
It is, but the continued lack of strategy in terms of battle strategy is very frustrating, I think. But overall, these are nitpicks that I don't think take anything away from the show. But it's just could have thought such a little better.
I mean, having them get fucked up by Euron makes sense. Euron's supposed to be the master of the seas and the best naval captain there is right now. So that all checks out for me. But it's funny because here, Dragonstone landing area, really close to King's Landing. Oh shit, Euron's here. Oh fuck.
Right.
Nice Meraxes callback for the bookheads. Rhaegal getting fucked up with some crossbow bolts. It's funny. I've actually seen that go both ways for the bookheads. Some people are like, well, Meraxes only died because the Dornish hit her in the fucking eye. And it was like a 1 in a million shot. So how did Rhaegal take 2 bolts? Or how did Rhaegal even die at all? He should have bounced off the scale. So it's just kind of funny that there's like warring ability over the powers of the dragons. And again, these are not like super super big dragons. Like I saw some tweets comparing it to like Aegon the Conqueror's uh, dragon Balerion, the Black Dread, which is like this fucking massive dragon, way bigger than Drogon. It's this fucking unit, right? Meraxes is Aegon's sister's dragon who dies over Dorne before Dorne is conquered. And it's just funny people like trying to bring the book logic in when we often don't have that book logic established in the show.
No.
Like it was a lot of people were bringing that up last week about the prophecies that were barely spoke of on said show, you know? Yep. So having that come up again with the dragon is kind of cool. Kind of funny at the end of the day. Another book callback was the Hound leaving Winterfell once again with Arya, but on this big black destrier, this big black steed, which is his horse Stranger from the books, which is actually one of the hints in the books that the Hound didn't actually die, because we don't actually know if he is truly alive in the books. But 2 little callbacks, Meraxes and the horse. But nice little nods.
My biggest issue with the whole episode was Jon Snow. I mean, fuck that guy, dude. You got your dog, you got your direwolf, just there. You freaking went head on into the army of the dead because you, for some reason, were like, oh yeah, just let him go and fight them.
He's
with
a steed.
Cavalry. Ridiculous strategy. And then you just don't even say goodbye to him. You can't even go and give him a peck goodbye. What a dick.
That ain't no problem. It's fine.
It's a huge problem. I'm not okay with that.
He did not have a tender, warm relationship with Ghost in what he does in the book. The book, he literally has warg dreams with Ghost, just like Arya does. That's a whole thing we never got on the show at all. Like, I'm sure that blows a lot of TV watchers' heads that like Arya and Jon also warg into wolves, just like Bran did. But yeah, I mean, remember Ghost has just kind of been over there, but you didn't really see him because the camera was looking over there instead. You know, he's always been around. But Jon, Jon didn't have that bond the way Grey Wind and Robb Stark did. Because that's what the show took it, because money. But yeah, ridiculous. I was like, wow, they're not doing, just let him go. Okay. But while you protect Ghost Heads, at least he's alive.
Yes.
So take what you can get, okay?
And now he's with Tormund, who will definitely treat him right. Also, Tormund should have gotten the girl in terms of Brienne.
That if there's anything that's just like totally fan service, it was extenuating the Tormund bit about Brienne and having him like drunkishly be upset about it. Yeah. In this past episode, that's just fan service, because that doesn't really serve any narrative purpose. Like the Jaime and Brienne stuff, whether you were for it or against it, personally, it was built up and had a lot of riding on it. And I didn't see it that often, but I saw some people be like, Brienne wouldn't cry over a man and be upset. And I counter with, did you watch season 2 when Renly Baratheon dies? And Kat Stark watches her bawl her eyes out because Renly was the first guy that treated her well. And now in the second guy to treat her well spurns her in Jaime, she's upset again. That's out of character. Or is this really where we're going? So
I think that's a bad take for sure.
Yeah.
Overall, I think that there's a lot of good setup. I'm really excited. I actually thought Peter Dinklage had a really good episode. I liked when Bronn showed up.
Oh yeah.
But that speech he gives to Cersei, I thought it was like probably Dinklage's last like great soliloquy of the series, which I think was very earned, and he's been just fantastic throughout the series. So good for him.
Having him spar with Qyburn was cool.
Yes,
I don't think they've really had a convo like that on the show at all. I think they've just been next to each other last season at the Dragon Pit, if I remember right. But that was cool, just for 2 kind of gifted speakers like that. The Bronn scene, I mean, we like Bronn, but even before that, like the whole drinking game scene, the whole revelry of it, just seeing Jaime and Tyrion just like be boys and hang out with Brienne and Pod, fucking great. And then having Pod leave with 2 women because he's the fucking sex god.
Love it.
Awesome. Now, I did see a lot of comments about Missandei's death,
Yes.
and we kind of got this episode 2 where Missandei and Grey Worm are really the only characters of color of any consequence, and by consequence we mean they're always around, but they're usually just kind of in the background. The only real development they ever had was the bond between themselves and the fact that they both served Danny. Now I think it was definitely subverting expectations to have Grey Worm survive the battle than have Missandei get killed. Did not have that in my pool, I'll tell you that. Um, but having Missandei get killed on the heels of the Dothraki basically almost being annihilated, the other culture we've spent so much time with, um, maybe wasn't handled the best. Did you have an issue with the way Sansa uh, spoke to the Hound, which I thought was a great scene, but the way she acknowledged her past trauma as helping her kick the little birdness out of her and become a stronger, independent woman, smarter person, all that. Did you have an issue with that? Because I mean, some people are seeing it as Sansa is happy Ramsay raped her because it made her better in the end. I didn't think that was the implication at all. But if you thought maybe the message or the dialogue was a little fumbled, I would understand.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with at the time. I can see why people might feel that way. I think more of the point of it was she sees the things that have happened to her as, just kind of what the line was supposed to be, that like I grew
Right.
from this. Like this is something that helped me
Like
mature.
Bran, like I got pushed out the window, so here I am now. Right.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
acceptance, I guess.
But people can take it either way, I think. And maybe they should have been a little bit more careful about how they were say it, or give her a couple more lines of dialogue. I do want to say one thing I'm a little frustrated with is how this show seems to cut away at the moments that I want to see the most.
It's a new phenomenon too.
Yes, and I think I understand that they want to leave some surprises and kind of leave the viewers guessing, fuel some of the what did they really talk about? What were the reactions? But I feel like we need to see what happened by the Elder Tree when John and Bran shared John's parentage with his sisters, because we've been leading up to that for a while, and to not get that felt so frustrating. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I guess it's my biggest critique, probably.
Yeah, I hear you. It's funny. I mean, there's 2 episodes left. Next week is Mikhail Sapochnik. Once again, I think
Big battle.
Next week, Cersei. That the last war's ending right now. Clegane Bowl will start. Who knows how it goes, but that'll happen too. I think Bronn, whatever happens with Bronn, probably comes back into play. I assume if it is to happen once again. Yeah, looks like we're there. I mean, do you think we see Sam and Gilly again? It looks like they're just going off to Horn Hill. Sam's out of the mix the way Tormund is. I really didn't expect Tormund to take the wildlings back north. I mean, there's all these unoccupied northern castles now, thanks to the White Night King and the fighting. Like the Bolton Castle is, we think empty, right?
I do think we see Sam and Gilly again, only because it seems like John is going to be coming back up north at some point. There was just too many little clues dropped in this. Tormund saying you have the true north in you and things like that. That I think he will be returning, and I think when he does, we'll probably see those characters again. Which also might give him a chance to redeem himself with Ghost. So hopefully he does
get your hopes up.
Man, that was just so disappointing. John, you're a better guy than that. Come on, bro.
So I mean, the final conflict that's been set up is the Danny versus John heir thing. Mad Queen, we've acknowledged that, we talked about it, predicted, yada yada. So it's here. Then Varys and Tyrion have a great moment where they really talk about that. Varys reestablishes himself for the agency he's always had about protecting the realm, and he's a great book character. You get even more of that in the books. But I mean, we both have predicted John would die, partially due to his desire to leave the Earth for good, and also his reluctance to rule. It just kind of all made sense. But I mean, Danny's been so positioned as really the final antagonist now. I'm starting to hedge on my prediction, just given what we've seen. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, Mad Queen is pretty much a thing. I mean, the look she has, the way that she's drives forward, even when advised that probably should take a little bit of a break, let people recoup.
Right.
Power hungry, loses her two best friends in the world, Miss Cindy and Jorah, back to back, pretty much like 2 days apart. Tough, tough couple days there. Uh, yeah, I think John probably will have to survive, but I think this sets up more than ever for there to be, as our friend Adam Mahalik calls it, like a United Nations type ending, where
Gendry is legitimate now.
yeah, where I think there's just going to be a bunch of different people who are ruling different parts. Because I don't think John will want to have one ruler over all the kingdom. So probably get maybe Tyrion in the south if he survives. What John up north or Sands up north? John will probably, I don't know, be
Yeah,
as
no,
like a
I
something.
mean, they subtly introduced that. Oh yeah, Dorne's a thing. There's a new prince, so we know who rules there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean Highgarden, and they're like, we'll promise it to Bronn. Technically, that's under the Southern rule. You could give Highgarden to Sam if he actually wanted it. I don't know if it'll be this clean way all predicted. Like Tyrion goes back to the Rock, and Sansa takes the North, and Gendry has Storm's End, and
Mm-hmm.
Edmure Tully comes back and has River Run. Like I don't know if it'll be that clean, but it would definitely seem to be what John would do if John is the leader.
Well, one last thing before we wrap up. Arya really curbs Gendry and then heads out to
But yeah,
King's
she did.
Landing. Yeah, I mean she just
In
brutal.
character.
It's very in character. But the witch uh,
Melisandre.
Melisandre says to her, "You're gonna close brown eyes." The phrase "blue eyes, the Night King," and green eyes. And people were saying, "Oh, Cersei. Arya's gonna be the one to get Cersei." But now, is it gonna be Dany, who also has green eyes? What's your prediction?
I still think it's Jamie.
You think it's Cersei?
I still think it's Jamie. But if Arya does it, I wouldn't be surprised now. She's going to be there. Maybe Arya kills the Mountain after the Mountain kills the Hound. Um, I think Arya's in the mix, clearly. She's headed back down there. She's going to do something. Whether she lives or dies, I don't know. But as for Cersei, Dany, I don't. Nothing surprises me. It's tough to say. I'm just going to stick with Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. Like we had the detente of Tyrion's character.
Yep.
Don't think he would serve Valonqar if they do go for that.
No.
So I'll go with Jamie. He's headed back south. He's gonna rid Cersei with his from his life once and for all. And if he survives, he can actually go back to Brienne for good. That's what I'm going
That'd be a nice ending. Uh,
with.
I don't know if Game of Thrones will give it to us, but it'd be really nice.